My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget. I have a question. Is this a lob? Is this what you call a lob? Because I was like, I think I want to cut my hair not quite into a bob, but not quite mid-length either, like longer than a bob, but not a bob, but I don't want a lob, I guess kind of arbitrarily. And I feel like what you get if it's not a bob, but longer than a bob is a lob, a long bob. If you don't like my haircut, you are free to not like my haircut. I walk around disliking people's haircuts all the time. I judge people's hair, I judge people's makeup, I judge people's fashion. But something I don't do is to go up to somebody who I know casually, or maybe someone who I recognize and I know but they don't know me, like someone who's the cashier at my grocery store every week and I see her every week. If she gets a haircut that I don't like, what I don't do is in the checkout line with my groceries, say to her,
"I liked you better with long hair."
That's a thing I don't do because that's rude. You can think whatever you want about my hair. If you dislike it, that's fine. I have nothing against that. I just want you to know that I'm as real a person as your grocery cashier, and the things you say to me in my comments are as real as whatever you say to your grocery cashier. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. This is one of my favorite videos to film. It's the video in which I tell you how I spent my budget in the preceding month. And normally, I guess if I hadn't learned my lesson by now, I would be saying something like, it's gonna be a really short one because I only bought a a shockingly few number of things. Small, few, less, more. I didn't buy very much, but we all know that that's not how it goes down. Remember that month when I bought pretty much just one blouse and I talked about it for like an hour? The shocker though, the drama of this video is that the thing that I thought was gonna happen, which is that I was gonna have just purchased the Louise Poston lipstick and then I was going to abstain from buying anything for the whole rest of the month, that almost happened, but it didn't happen. And the other thing that I was pretty sure was gonna happen, or the thing I thought I wasn't gonna do, which was to buy something that was on sale for Black Friday, that happened.
So the thing that I thought wasn't gonna happen, which was that I bought something. The thing that I thought was going to happen, which is that I didn't buy anything on Black Friday. That didn't happen.
Are you with me? But let's start with the lipstick. This one should be short and sweet because I feel like I have been reviewing it piecemeal over the course of several videos because I've been doing those videos where I film myself getting ready in the morning every day, the videos where I'm opening my advent calendar, and every time I have not opened a lipstick in the advent calendar, pretty much I've been wearing this because it's so easy, it's such a good go-to, and the matte finish is what I find to be kind of the most natural and wearable in a lipstick for something day to day. It is the Lisa Eldridge Velvet Lipstick Velvet. It is the Lisa Eldridge True Velvet in the color Velvet Fawn. I will give you a swatch of it, even though I've done this before and you've seen it on me before. There's the swatch. There's the bullet. Isn't this an amazing shot? This is like beauty guru fail. I'm like,
there's the lipstick at very close range.
I literally filmed a whole video unboxing this, trying it on for the first time, swatching it next to other similarly colored lip products in my collection. So I'm not going to go on at length about it, especially in terms of just like the basics, because I feel like I covered all of those in that video. What I will say is that I've continued to like it. I don't necessarily feel passion, like I don't feel like a burning passion for it. I'm not like, it's one of my top 5 lipsticks, because it's so neutral and it's so easy. It's so effortless. It just doesn't feel like it has that distinction for me. Even though it's Lisa Eldridge, I bought it myself. It has some of these qualities attached to it that elevate it, but that don't have to do with the lipstick itself. So how I feel about Lisa, how I feel about money, the fact that it was the only thing I purchased, the fewer nicer things, way of living, like all of those things are kind of like buoying it up. I think though that even though it hasn't sort of shown for me emotionally this month, I think I'm gonna end up wearing it like down to its nub. So I wouldn't want someone to take it away from me. And weirdly, I kind of feel like maybe my top 5 most favoritist lipsticks that make my heart light up are maybe not the top 5 that would be the most practical for me to keep if I only could keep 5. Knowing me, I would probably keep the 5 that I feel special feelings about, But if I could only keep 5 and I were going to be really practical, this would be one of them. So in that way, it has become a smash hit just in a very short time. And I'm very glad that I bought it. It's not something that I'm like, oh, I don't love it as much as I thought I would. It's not like that at all. It's just so much a staple. It's like a staple by definition. So it's like having a really nice pair of underwear. Like when you wash all of your underwear, which is the first pair that you wear on the very first day when they're all clean, because it's the one that is your absolute favorite. It's like you love that underwear and it's your absolute favorite, but it's still just a pair of underwear. Like it's still just underwear. So it's this really lovely convenience, and it can really elevate your day and make you feel great that the one that is the best in this category of utilitarian things is the one that you've chosen to wear that day, or it's clean so you got to wear it that day, et cetera, et cetera. But it's still just got that staple nature. That's kind of how I feel about this. And I think it's great, but I don't feel the way about this that I felt about the blouse or even the high-waisted gold jeans that I purchased the month before. I feel a little bit more like I did myself a service by getting this. And kudos to Lisa for making a lipstick that feels like that, because I feel like more and more, like there's so much pomp and circumstance surrounding makeup, and a lot of makeup releases are designed to make you feel those feelings. Like they're designed to make you feel the way I feel about my editorial blouse briefly, like briefly enough to buy it and to enjoy it for a little while. And you feel these like spiking feelings like, rah, rah, I'm so excited I got my hands on X and I'm wearing X on my eyes. And you feel this like crazy elation for a very short time. But then it immediately dies, and then you're looking for something else to buy that will give you that same feeling. And so you gravitate towards products that promise a similar kind of high, and then they like let you down really quickly. So there's this like up and down and up and down, and at the end of going up and going down 100 times, you've spent thousands of dollars and you're down again. And I just like the fact that this feels more even keel. It's like, oh yeah, that's good. And I got it. It was good. It was right. And I just feel like we're going to go along together, this lipstick and me, on an even keel until I've used it up. And that's just, it's much more sustainable. It's much more emotionally healthy for me. And it feels like a much better investment of my budget than things that kind of make my emotions spike and make me feel that brief spark of total thrill. So the reason that this was going to be my only purchase this month, and oh, I didn't even start, I was too busy being dramatic about my haircut to give my usual intro, but at the beginning of November, I had a rollover of $15.85 from October, and so I started out the month with $215.85 in my budget for beautiful things. And I didn't spend it, and I didn't spend it, and I didn't spend it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I've referenced this in another video. I can't remember which one. It might even have been the Lisa Eldridge lipstick unboxing. But the main reason that I didn't buy anything is that I didn't have time. Like I genuinely didn't have time. And I talk a lot on this channel about like being busy and having a lot on my plate, because that's just the reality of the life that I've cobbled together. My income comes from a bunch of different sources, so I always have a bunch of different balls in the air. I also have creative projects that I really care about. YouTube is one of them, and some of my income has started to come from YouTube also, so YouTube's kind of like both. It's both a job and a creative project that I really care about. My writing is a creative project that I really care about, and I've been spending like triple or quadruple the time that I usually spend on trying to nurse along some writing projects. It's just happened to be how the chips have fallen over the past couple of months. But this month, so I'm always going like, I'm so busy, woe is me, OMG, I'm like crazed over here, I'm having a really bad time because there's so much on my plate. Like that's just my perennial cry. And I feel like Hannah from November of 2019 could go back and school all the other Hannahs who have ever said that and be like, smack, bitch, please, you don't know what you're talking about. Just wait until November of 2019, because it has been on another level. Like it is more than doubled, I feel like, what I'm dealing with. And I actually have had a month. I'm like going into check-in territory. My check-in, it might go up tomorrow. Everything's late. I don't know which one I'll post first, but I'm guessing I'll post this first and then I'll post my check-in tomorrow, but I'm going to be filming it soon. I will talk about this more at length in my check-in, but the thing that's happened to me this month is that I literally
quite literally
have more to do than I can do. And that doesn't usually happen to me. I usually have so much to do that I'm really, really busy, but I don't usually have a situation where I have to drop some balls in order to get through the day. And I hate that feeling. I hate not accomplishing everything that needs to be accomplished. And I hate accomplishing things at a lower level than I'm used to because there's so much going on. So it's been really emotionally stressful on top of just being logistically stressful. And knowing that I literally have more to do than I can do has prohibited me from engaging in any shopping behaviors because I felt like I could not unwind at night by spending 30 minutes browsing Sephora just out of curiosity because I had to either be filming or editing or no YouTube videos would have gone up, or I had to be working on a writing project or nothing would have gotten sent out on time. And even if I woke up like super early in the morning, like at 6 o'clock, I could not drink a cup of coffee and scroll through Instagram and click through to some clothing shops for 15 minutes because I had to be sending emails during those 15 minutes or else it would have not gotten done for that day. And it's been like that. That's not the life I want. It's not the life I was trying to build for myself. It just happened to be that way this month, and I hope that it will end soon. But it's been that way for all of November. So I didn't even know that the Lisa Eldridge lipstick launch, I sort of had it in the back of my mind, but I wasn't planning on clicking through to her website because I didn't have time. I hadn't visited her website since last year. And then somebody mentioned in a comment, I think, or maybe it was in a video that was about another lipstick launch, someone offhandedly was like, I already bought some Lisa Eldridge lipsticks, so I am not going to buy any of these. And a flip just kind of switched in me. And a switch just kind of flipped in me. And I was like, maybe I should buy a Lisa Eldridge lipstick. Didn't she come out with a nude, a brown nude? And I clicked through to the website and I looked at it, and it was like halfway through the month. And it was the Friday or Thursday before the pre-launch orders were being sent out. So there was like just a couple of hours left, maybe half a day left in which to place an order in order to get your lipstick on the first round of shipping. And so it was kind of like I had to make the decision right then or not. And I, a Lisa Eldridge lipstick launch, it kind of checks all the boxes for me, including the box that meant that I could like unbox it on camera and talk about it because it was a launch that was of interest. And I just hadn't spent any of my budget at all. So I was like, why not? Like, no skin off my nose. This will be lovely. And the thing that was nice about that was that it had the purchase had about it that feeling of relaxation and joy that I am striving for now. It was not something that I angsted over, and it wasn't something that made me feel, again, those like spiking emotions. It wasn't like I had been on the edge of my seat waiting for it and then like clicking through at midnight on the first night. And, it wasn't like that. It was just like this, oh yeah, oh, I think that would be like a good purchase for me. It would make me happy and it would work out in a bunch of ways. And it's totally within my budget and I have budget left for the month. I'm going to do it. But I was as convinced as I could have been that would be it for the month. And I talked about this in my video. It was the Black Friday video. It was the video about sale survival for the Black Friday weekend. I talked about how I then had something like almost 200. I had something like $195 or something left in my budget after I purchased that lipstick. And the idea of saving those 200 and then having 400 the next month, having 400 at the beginning of December, was so attractive that it made me not want to buy anything during the Black Friday sales because I wanted to have an occasion to go shopping and to like have those $400 and to really, really relax into just being able to consider a wider range of things or a number of things or whatever. I just wanted to be able to go shopping with a bigger budget. So I was reluctant to spend that money. And when I made that video, I did say, I might buy something. I have no idea what's going to happen. But I was also like, I don't feel like planning. That was the big thing. I was like, I don't want to like spend the week leading up to Black Friday planning out what I'm going to buy and seeking out the deals and finding out every single thing that's on sale and trying to dredge up kind of like old desires that have now faded, or trying to dredge up excitement about something that I had never considered buying before. Like I just wasn't going to spend my time that way. And I didn't spend my time that way, but I did buy something on Black Friday, and I will tell you exactly how it happened. So on Thursday of the week of Black Friday, at that time I had, let's do the exact math, I had $182.30 left in my budget. It was very near the end of the month. So I had $182.30, but I felt like I was about to have $382.30. Like it was about to roll over, and I could kind of smell that almost $400. So I sort of felt like I already had it. Like I was starting to relax out of like the strictness of just the November budget. That may have played a part in it. The fact that Black Friday comes so close to the end of the month, and I have a budget that's set up that rolls over on the first of the month. So I was kind of feeling like I was already working with a bigger pot than I technically was. And I am very strict about my budget. I don't borrow from a future month into another month. So I wouldn't have spent any of my December budget on Black Friday. I would never, ever have done that. When I make rules for projects like this, it's important for me, for my sense of efficacy, that I stick to my rules, even if they seem relatively arbitrary, even if it's only off by one day. If I had wanted my rules to be a little bit more fluid, then I would have built them to be a little bit more fluid. And I'm kind of considering doing that for next year, but it's important to me that when I make a plan, that I stick to it. It's just one of the ways in which I remind myself that I'm strong. I wouldn't have spent it, but I was kind of like thinking, I felt a little more relaxed about maybe making a purchase. So on Thanksgiving, my dad emailed me and he was like, tell me what you want for Christmas, because I like shopping early, which was code for him being like, if there's anything on your Christmas wish list that is on sale on Black Friday, I would rather know about it now so that I can buy it on sale. I come from a thrifty father. So it was Thanksgiving, which means that I couldn't work. And I think that this is key. It was like my only day off in the entire month. We had come home from Thanksgiving dinner. It was late. We had stayed really late at Julia's. It was late, but I was all keyed up because it had been a holiday and I'd been with my friends. We'd been laughing. We'd had some drinks. We'd eaten a bunch of food. And I was just feeling like I was on holiday. And I have been having terrible insomnia lately, but that night it wasn't even like terrible. It was like this happy insomnia where we were slowly kind of going to bed and I was still kind of like wired, and I'd gotten this email from my dad, which like kind of gave me license to think about what I might want to put on my Christmas wish list for the first time in the entire season. So I was like, oh, what fun. I'll do this like before I go to sleep. I was like in bed with my computer, which I try not to do, but these days everything's been out the window these days. So I was sitting there. It was like I was having such a sparkly Thanksgiving evening, nighttime, and I started kind of looking at my old wish list and stuff that had been on it for a while. My whole family uses this online wish list called Wishlister. You can like save stuff to your wish lister with a little widget, and then other people can go in and see what you've put on your wish list. It's a really good way to kind of, in a hands-off manner, inform other people of what you would really enjoy receiving and also find out what they would enjoy receiving. We've been using it for like 3 or 4 years now, actually. It's working out really well. So I wanted to kind of go in and see if there was anything on my wish lister that I didn't really fancy anymore and take it off, because I knew my dad would be looking at it. And then, you know, maybe browse around and like stick a couple things on there and think about like what's on my actual wish list. And I went into the wish list and I was looking at it and I saw a sweater that I had put on there a couple of months, it can't have been a couple months ago at some point, but it was like in advance of the whole holiday thinking about wish listing. It was just something I had idly done. But when I saw it again on Thursday night of Thanksgiving, right before Black Friday, I was like, I really want that sweater. I was like, that's my number one thing on my wish list. I really want that for Christmas. I had forgotten about it, but I was like, I dragged it up to the top of my wish list. And I was like, I'm going to keep my wish list really spare because I want that sweater like 3 times more than I want anything else that's on my wish list. And I want to make sure that if someone's going to buy me just one thing, because that's what we tend to do in our family, just like, you know, I'll buy my sister one thing, she'll buy me one thing, I'll buy my dad one thing. And we've kind of moved away even from gifts with extended family. It's just like this very small one thing exchange. So I was like, if Ellie or if my dad's going to pick one thing, I want to make sure that they know that this sweater is the thing that would make me the happiest. So that was fun because I was like, oh, it's exciting to actually like know what you want and to be able to share that. And so I put it at the top of the wish list and I was like, feeling good. Then I clicked through the link and it was sold out. And so I was like, oh, I got to find it somewhere else. So I started searching around. It's a little brand. It's not a little sweater. The sweater's not little. The brand is small. It's called Paloma Wool, and it's out of Barcelona. And it's like a small sort of niche chic company that makes slightly offbeat clothing, but it looks really beautifully made and sort of very labored over in terms of the craftsmanship and the design. And the sweater, I'll put a picture of it up on the screen. I think you guys know where the story is going, so I'll go ahead and disclose what the sweater looks like. It's such a beautiful cross between like a minimalist haute aesthetic that's where it's like everything's like cream and white and soft and textural and dimensional. It's like a cross between that and sort of like a cheeky aesthetic because of the drawing of the face. And I also feel like it has this very Instagrammable quality, like this slightly bold quality, but at the same time, it's something that I could wear like day after day after day and it wouldn't seem like too much and it would not go. And it's made with mostly wool, but then it's mixed with a little polyamide and a little bit of like other things that will make it really hold its shape super well. And they make it machine washable. So it's just like when I purchased the blouse with the ruffles, it just checks every single box. And at this point as a shopper, when I find something that hits it like that on all counts, I know it. And for this to be doing that, but then to also be so aesthetic and ever so slightly, dare I say it, editorial, I started searching all of the little boutiques in the United States that had carried the sweater for the winter season. So a bunch of little, it's like a hipster general store in Phoenix, Arizona, like had 3 in stock, and in Portland, Oregon, they had like 1 in stock, but it was in the wrong color. It was like all of these little boutiques everywhere that were carrying it. It wasn't like at Urban Outfitters. It wasn't like at Anthropologie. You know what I mean? It wasn't at Nordstrom's. It was like all of these little small businesses, which is cool. I like that. And Paloma Wool itself is a small business, and I like that. So I was looking and looking, and it was sold out everywhere. There were probably like 10 boutiques that I found in the United States that had it for sale. Nobody still had it in stock. It is in stock in a number of shops in a navy blue with a white drawing, but that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted the cream colored one with the black drawing. I finally found it. I was shocked. And it took some internet research because I think that the internet people, the little the little gremlins inside the internet that like make decisions for you and help guide your hand, they didn't think I would want to buy something internationally. They were like helping me find the listings for this sweater that were more local or that would have shipped from the United States. But I outsmarted the gremlins and I found one in stock in a boutique, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, in New Zealand. And I bought it because I realized in that moment, and at this time it was past midnight, so Black Friday had started, and I did have a moment where I was sitting there and I was like, Hannah, are you doing this? Like, are you up at midnight, like shopping the Black Friday sales right when Black Friday kicks off? The excuse that I have is that all of what I talked about with Thanksgiving and the excitement and me being keyed up and the insomnia, and I didn't plan to do it. I didn't mean to do it. And it didn't even occur to me actually that Black Friday was starting until when I clicked through to this boutique, they were having a huge sale. And I was like, oh my gosh, I found the sweater and it's in stock and it's like 30% off or something. And I was like, wow. And then I was like, oh, it's Black Friday. FML. And in that moment when I clicked through, I had originally been searching. I originally was like, oh, I need to find a shop that still has this in stock so I can link to it from my wish lister to a listing where they still have it. Like I didn't want to link to a shop where it was sold out because I don't think anyone in my family would have had the wherewithal to track it down in a place that did have it in stock, especially once I realized how hard it was to find. But when I finally found it in this shop in New Zealand, I wasn't about to link that shop to my wish lister because I I just felt like it was probably about to sell out. I was like, it's the last one on earth. And I realized in that moment that it's the exact kind of thing I want to be spending my budget on. Like if I took my $400 on December 8th or 1st or 20th or whenever I'm going to have time to go shopping, which I still haven't, if I took that budget and I went on a shopping trip in downtown Los Angeles or to the mall, this sweater, I could only ever dream of finding something that perfect. Like I could only ever hope to. And I realized that it wouldn't feel good to pass over this opportunity to buy a sweater, only then to take those dollars and go shopping with them, and only to find things that were as good or not quite as good for me and not quite as exciting as this. So I thought about it for quite a while. I stayed up a little bit later than I wish I had on Black Friday. But I didn't want to be too impulsive. So I thought about it for a little while, and then I was like, yeah, this is like the sweater equivalent of my blouse. This is going to make me really, really, really happy. And I bought it. It hasn't arrived yet because it's en route from New Zealand. It's currently in the airplane. I've been tracking its future career with great interest. And it ended up costing me, in American dollars, with the sale, $133. So it's a pricey item. Paloma Wool is like a boutique clothing manufacturer. Not even, I guess manufacturer is what you would say, but they manufacture on a very small scale. But they're a boutique designer, a boutique clothing house. And I'm saying house like H-A-U-S. I think you can probably tell. So I think that it was retailing for something like in the 180s or some. I found it in some shops for like 210. Like it was up there. It was like around the $200 mark. It was significantly discounted for me. And I think I would have bought it even if it cost more, even if I had to spend the whole remainder of my budget, which, what did I have left? Like 180 something dollars. If it had cost $180, I think I still would have purchased it. I think I would have purchased it even if there wasn't a discount, because it was in the situation where I was like, if I have budget left for this and I can find one available, I'm going to buy it because it is what I want. I want it to be the one fewer, nicer things thing. I want it to be my one big purchase for the month. So that is it. I feel like I've managed to make a full-fledged how I spent my budget in the preceding month video, even though I only purchased 2 things. Is this the fewest? Is this the smallest? No, in September, I also only bought 2 things. I bought the Ulla Johnson blouse and a sweater. And I think that those are the 2, they're tied for the 2 leasty spenty, leasty body months. They're tied for the 2 months where I bought the fewest number of things. I am very excited for the sweater to arrive. You better believe I'll wear it on camera as soon as it is in my hot little hands. And I'm really curious to know what you guys think down below. I hated this month. I mean, just let's be real, like this is hard for me. I like a calm life. I like to feel like I have time to smell the roses. I like to feel like I have time to think about poetry and to be idle in a way that's creatively productive. And I have had none of that. I'm like squashed down to my very nerves. So I don't like that. This has been hard times for me. And I'll talk more about it in my check-in. But spending wise, I kind of loved this month because not only did I only buy these 2 things, but the lead up time to both purchases was very short. I didn't spend almost any brain power and time planning to buy the 2 things. For both of them, the experience of thinking about and deciding to buy the thing was sort of like exciting and pleasant and a little bit dynamic and impulsive, but not in like a dangerous way, not in a way that like threatened my financial stability or my emotional stability. And I loved that. And so weirdly, having this really, really tough month that packed my schedule and disallowed me from thinking about shopping or acting on any shopping plans, having that month led to a month of like very spare shopping, but very satisfying choices. And I'm going to keep thinking about that going forward, because I think that even though I enjoy indulging in the act of shopping, like window shopping, browsing, reading reviews, like even just like going into shops and like touching things, like even though I enjoy doing that, it's telling to me that the month that I feel really happy about and really satisfied about is the one where I was sort of on a tacit no buy. And also there have been other months recently that were like that, where I was sort of on a tacit no buy, and it feels good. So I'm just gonna keep that information and hold it in my pocket like a little gemstone, especially heading into next year. And now I'm going to end this video. But I thank you so much for watching, and yeah, let's chat down below. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.